Hello, friends from the comic world. My name is Hector,
And my name is G.
and we're here to talk to you about the new collected editions and graphic novels that are coming out during the month of August 2025. G and I work for Penguin Random House, and we manage sales into the direct market around the world. So, titles that we talk about in this video are from the publishers that we represent to those markets. Also, note we're on social media. We're on Instagram, we are X, Facebook, and of course YouTube on their at PRH International Comics. So make sure to go and check us out, and we'll leave some links in the description below. If you haven't watched these videos before, the way we do these is that G and I picked a few titles that we want to highlight. And then after that, after we talk about those, go through those, we'll show you some other key titles that are coming out on sale in August that you don't want to miss. But then after that, we'll leave you with the rest of the list so you'll be able to see everything that is programmed to go on sale during the month of August 2025. As always, remember sometimes there are changes, sometimes titles are moved for one reason or another. So you might see titles that we talked about or we showed on previous videos. Just bear that in mind. And with that, let's get started. I think I go first. Yes, and it's Butterfly by RSML and also Marguerite Bennett, and illustrated by Antonio Fuso and Stefano Simone. Uh, this is a new trade paperback edition of this coming out in August. A Butterfly from Boom Studios, and with you can see the little blue seal there. It's coming out as a live action show in Prime Video. If you don't know this one, this is a very cool spy thriller story, and it takes you to um, a butterfly who's this character who's a part of Project Delta, and is a agent who's in deep cover. But she is set up for the murder she did not commit, so she ends up reaching out to her father, a strange father she thought she had died like 20 years before, and they are running from Project Delta, and on the so it's a very action packed story. It was so big when it came out in single issues. It was available in hardcover too. I can't remember if we still have it, but I know it came out in hardcover. But now in August, just in time for August 13th release of the TV show, we're getting this trade paperback. The show features Daniel Day Kim is the main character in it, from Lost, from Hawaii Five O, and also recently from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is gonna be it. It's already getting a lot of buzz. There's no trailer yet for this, and it's getting so much buzz. So it's one that I highly recommend as a story, but also keep an eye out because it might fly off the shelves. People might want to go pick it up right away. So there you go.
All right. My pick is The Land of Unfinished Dreams by Marco Ventura. You don't often see stories that's like adventure stories that centers on like a grandpa. So I like
Hmm.
that they do that here. So the aforementioned grandpa is called Ned, and Ned is a retired literature teacher without much excitement in his life, but his grandkids that you'll see here on the covers on the corner of each on the cover page, his grandkids come to visit, and he loves to tell them bedtime stories. And every evening, there's this he will tell this story of this clumsy knight that tries to save the princess in new and different ways, but they never reach the end of the story. And so one fateful night we have Ned, who is shocked to wake up in his own fantasy world, the if you like grandpa isekais, I guess. This is you could think of it that way.
Yeah.
So this fantasy world is full of characters from the bedtime stories that he's been telling. So many of those characters that they run into are friends and foes. And when there's this terrifying darkness that rises, and it is up to Ned to look within himself to confront that threat beyond his imagination. So we have a first collaboration between Italian creators, who I mentioned here, Marco Ventura, but also Marco Ferraris. So it's a very poignant graphic novel that really centers on the themes of storytelling, family, growing old, but also staying young. And yeah, I just can't wait. The art, uh, the cover just doesn't do it justice, so I recommend picking it up. And yeah, coming in August.
Yes. And we continue with Iron Heart by Lucas Kummer. Kummer. I'm not sure. And it's a he is an Austrian born and raised artist, but also but now he currently lives in Germany. And this is a head spinning, time bending graphic novel in a nuclear fusion of a fantasy and science fiction whose every page glows with an eerie light. Will you survive the blast? So here we follow a young knight that you see here on the cover who's fleeing across the radioactive ruins of a fairy tale land, pursued by a terrifying demon. His only weapon is the same has the same cursed power that once destroyed this world. And some will call this power magic, some will call it technology. And then as the enemy draws closer, the night terrible secrets begin to unfold in the story. So you start finding out about the backstory and how many lives he has lived. Is this the past, the present, the future? Is this destined to bring love or unmanageable destruction? And if he fails, will humanity get another chance? Like I said, this is Austrian German graphic novel, Lucas Kummer, and this is his English language debut. Uh, and it is a lot of has a lot of uh, science magic. It kind of goes in between different timelines, has different genres, different dimensions. So it sounds like a lot of fun and something that I'm looking forward to reading. So wanted to highlight this one because it looks extremely cool. And that's it. Coming out in August.
All right. So we have Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Book of Magic. This is Kelly Thompson. I'm gonna bring in some show and tell because man, when this first released in 2019, they had incredible cover art. So these are the single issues that came out that I have. Of
Mhm.
course, I had to get multiple covers for issue one. I
Yeah,
didn't want to. I don't know if you could. Can you even see this on my tiny screen? Probably
a little
not.
bit.
A
Probably
little
have to
bit.
keep it in the middle.
And then, of
Yeah,
course, I have the other issues. So
yeah,
it was one of the cat, so the Salem.
yeah.
So incredible art for this one. I had fun reading it when it first came out. And again, it's been a while. 2019, this is actually the first time it's getting collected. The full collection of Kelly Thompson and Veronica Fish's series. So it spans two story arcs. This will include a special bonus holiday story, which I haven't read. So I'm interested in picking this up to, just to have it all collected together. So Sabrina, uh, such a iconic
Yeah.
character. If you didn't know, teenage witch who's struggling, balancing a double life of high school and her burgeoning powers, and newly located to the very iconic Greendale, where her aunts Hilda and Zelda, also witches. So Sabrina is trying to make the best of being the new girl in town, which so far includes already two intriguing love interests, instant rivalry that she gets into, and so a couple misfits that she runs into that could turn into BFFs, which would be nice. And then trying to save the high school and maybe the end of the world from crazy supernatural events. You know, the normal teen girl life. Plus added more things. So yeah, so it's a lot of things happening. Blackmail, familial drama, portal to a paranormal world of the unknown, and all the problems that a very special teenager like her has to go through. So yes, so this is coming out in trade paperback.
All right, and we continue with this Stone Shore Register by G. Willow Wilson, illustrated by M.K. Parker, and lettering by Richard Boning. And T. Willow Wilson, you can't go wrong with her. This is a new graphic novel. It was announced last year, at the end of last year, and I was looking through it, and it was supposed to come out in July, but it's coming out, well, not that long after, in August 5th. So it's you don't have to wait a little bit longer. Um, and it is, the story itself it takes place in the Pacific Northwest, and this journalist, Fadumo, arrives at this town that has this huge stone statue uh, that you see here, and it's not the only thing that is kind of weird and interesting about this town. This town is always involved in some like weird supernatural things tend to happen around this town. So she is very interested. The journalist is interested to cover the stories of all these weird things that had happened in here in the town of Stone Shore. Um, and it's weird because it's people just like it's normal, and the people who live there. I was reading about the announcement and what um, G. Willow Wilson had said about it, and I found it really interesting. I always have a connection with stories that are take place in the Pacific Northwest because I went to school there. But also because of that, also there's always, if you notice, there's a lot of stories with supernatural that happen there. There's a lot of it's a big wooded area with a lot of lore and mythology. So it's a great place to kind of write stories about. And she says that I am quoting, I've always wanted to tell a very big story in a very quiet book. The Pacific Northwest is the perfect setting for a story like this. Foggy, mysterious, full of old myths and new urban legends, and little towns with single main road. And I actually went to school in one of those towns. That the biggest thing was the college. It is. It sounds very cool, very interesting. And of course, G. Willow Wilson, Eisner nominated, amazing artist from, many things that she has written over the years. Reuniting again with the artist, and I forget the name. Sorry. And MK Perker. And they have kind of they collaborated in Cairo and Air previously. So I'm looking forward to this. I think is for fans of G. Will Wilson, but also fans of sort of slow moving horror thriller kind of thing, more psychological than anything, but a lot of supernatural mythology, new mythology kind of thing. I think are gonna enjoy this, and gotta love this cover. I mean, it just tells you everything. The haunting sort of background with that big statue, and she's just on a boat approaching this little town in the Pacific Northwest. So there you go. Can't wait for this to be available. Gotta read it for sure.
All right, next up, Vicarious. So it's a really interesting premise where it's essentially a psycho thriller that you can think of it as like Talented Mr. Ripley meets Black Mirror or Saltburn meets Blade Runner. So the premise here is like where everyone can live someone else's life to the fullest in the most literal sense. What I mean by that is there's um, proxies in this world who are basically young, ambitious hustlers who have undergone this experimental new medical procedure that allows people the ability to vicariously experience their lives, essentially to see, hear, smell, taste, and feel everything that they do. So basically, these proxies can sell this experience and this access to the rich, and these proxies are willing to give up their privacy, their identity, trading it all for the taste of money and power. And so we have a character named Justin Bright, who's this promising new proxy who has a mysterious past and will learn very, very quickly that even though this sounds good, it comes with deadly consequences. So this trade paperback collects Vicarious issues number 1 to 5, and yes.
Yes. And now we're gonna go over some key titles we think you should not miss from this month. And we start with the trio of absolutes: Absolute Batman Volume 1, The Zoo; Absolute Superman Volume 1, Last Dust of Krypton; and Absolute Wonder Woman Volume 1, The Last Amazon by Scott Snyder, Jason Aaron, and Kelly Thompson currently. And of course, these stories were some of the biggest last year in single issues and continue to be. So having the trades collecting the first issues for each one of these is a huge. They're going to be available both in paperback and hardcover at the same time, which is something that DC is doing that I think is very cool. Uh, so there you go. We start with those, and we continue with another big one from the single issues last year: Aliens versus Avengers. Jonathan Hickman. The Avengers, and I mean the Alien franchise sort of crossing over with Marvel has been a big success, and this one was huge, and it took the comic world by storm. And now we have Aliens coming up later this year, and more Aliens. So there you go. And I'm talking about the movie scene, not just the comics. And then we have Aquina by Matteo Casali, very different to the other titles, but it's also coming in the month of August.
All right, continuing on, we have the Brian Michael Bendis omnibus, the all new X-Men. So we have the main cover and then the DM only cover. And then, of course, my fave, Cullen Bunn. You hear me talk about him all the time. This is Arkham Horror, The Terror at the End of Time. We have Batgirl Volume 1, Mother by Tade Brumble. And of course, we have Tom King, Batman Omnibus Volume 1.
There you go. And we continue with Blood Hunt, The Red Band by Jet McKay. We didn't have a collected edition of the Red Band sort of version, the more adult, bloody version of Blood Hunt. Now it's coming. Then we have Dayman, The Complete Connection by Matt Gagnon. And for the artist editions, we have DC Covers Artist Edition Volume 1, and it includes art from Jim Lee, Mike Mignola, Walter Simmons, John Byrne, Bernie Wrightson, and others. And after that, we have the collected edition for The Exorcism at 1600 pen by Hannah Rosemay and Vanessa Del Rey. Very cool story. And then we have Fantastic Four by Wade and Wieringo Unthinkable collected edition.
All right, continuing forward, we have Flavor Girls Return to the Mothership. Hollow, The Woman in White, which has both the hardcover and trade paperback coming out at the same time. Shannon Waters. Of course, James Tynion the Fourth, The House of Slaughter, Book One, Deluxe Edition. You have to get this, of course. House of Slaughter is everywhere. And
Yeah.
then the animated show is out. So if you haven't checked it out for Ianu, you should certainly do so. This we had previously come out with the trade paperbacks. So for the first time, this is going to be collected in a library edition, volume one. This is by creator Roy Okupe. And then, of course, we have the Jack Kirby's Forever People Artists edition.
Yes. And continuing, we have Laura Kinney, Wolverine Volume 1, One Mutant Army by Erica Schultz. Then we have Mist, Tales from the Cosmos, which features stories by the Third Person Production, which is a podcast, which is an amazing podcast with sci-fi stories that are amazing. You should check it out. And the book. And then the NAM 1966 to 1969 omnibus, Doc Murray. And then we have a regular, retail uh, cover, but we also have a direct market only cover on the right. And then we have The New Gods, Volume 1, The Fallen Sky by Ramby.
All right, Namor, the Submariner Omnibus, Volume 1, Stan Lee. We have the main cover and also the DM variant. And the Rolf and Other Stories. This has been, like, a lot of people have been liking the Richard Corbin titles. So this is a new one that's coming out. And then we have the Zeb Wells Spider-Man Gang War Omnibus. So of course, the main cover and then the DM direct market only cover with that event.
Yes. And then we continue with The Sheriff of Babylon. This is a 2025 edition of the Tom King story. And then we have Star Trek Strange New World Omnibus Volume 1 with several creators involved on this. And then we have Supergirl Cosmic Adventures in the Eighth Grade. This is the new edition of this book. This was with Landry Q. Walker. And then we have a Superman Legacy box set by, it says Alan Moore, but there's actually three titles in here. I forget exactly which ones. I know All Star is one of them. So it has several creators involved in this beautiful box collecting some of the best stories by Superman, and then Those Not Afraid by Kyle Starks.
All right, continuing, we have Symbiote Spider-Man by Peter David Omnibus. So we have the main cover and direct market only cover. We have Wednesday Comics, the 2025 edition, Didio. And of course, the Phil Jimenez Wonder Woman Omnibus. This is the 2025 edition. And Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Old School, New School by Christos Gage.
And that is it for the highlights that we're going to show you. But stick around because there's more. As you can see, there's going to be a lot more that is coming out in the month of August. We hope you enjoyed this video. We put a lot of love and effort in them. So we hope you check us out. Like I said, not only on YouTube, but on Instagram, on Facebook, and X Twitter. And also come back and watch more. We have videos like this for manga, and also we have weekly ones where we go over FOC titles. So there you go. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoy the rest of the list. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.